John Moravec, education futurologist. John, we're at the HVA School, University in Amsterdam, at a conference about inventing or reinventing the university in the 21st century. You've done a lot of thinking in this area. Can the university be saved in the 21st century?
I think it can be saved. I think that it can also be reinvented. I think that we can also create an expanded ecology of options to complement the university as well. An ecology of options means that we're not just going out and creating new universities or new schools, but maybe you have a kind of like an entrepreneur or maybe a startup university type program here or there, kind of like the Nomad School in Amsterdam or the CAS Pilots program in Denmark. But we also integrated it within a broader tertiary education network, and even integrated it in with primary and secondary levels as well. So it's much more fluid and integrates as much more as an organic member of a broader ecosystem of learning.
What do you most care about education? Why is it so important to you? Why do you spend your life thinking about it?
What's really important for me about education is I think that we really need to start, we need to start thinking about what we're going to do in the future.
We meaning who?
You and me. So, and everybody else around, because the world is changing, it's changing rapidly, and we need to be very active in co-designing that. Now we have to get in the conversation into what can you contribute to the organization, and what innovative ventures are you moving on to next instead. And so this is, it's really focusing on this transformation that we have in society that's more focused on knowledge, creativity, innovation.
But that may be true, knowledge, creativity, innovation, these catchphrases, lifelong learning. But don't all those things imply that we don't really need a university anymore? If there's such a thing as lifelong learning, which in my mind is simply life, since whatever we do all day, we're learning something, what's the point of a university?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct that we need to recognize learning for what it is, and it's something that's very natural at what people do. And for some things, universities or formal school systems are very good at teaching, but for things that other things we learn naturally, it's the wrong thing. If we asked the public schools to teach us how to walk, we'd all be, wearing crutches or going around in wheelchairs instead. Than just walking as we learn to walk as we naturally do as human beings. So there is a place for universities. There's a place for universities in the networking as an institution, the research, and also for creating social credibility between individuals.
What do you think of entrepreneurs like Peter Teal who are paying students to stay out or drop out of university?
I think it's good marketing for Peter Teal, but the actual impact is insignificant. We're talking about 20 students out of university, potential university population of hundreds and hundreds of millions. So the impact is not that great. It's not a sustainable model, and it really puts reliance on rich people providing money or opportunities for people who are maybe less fortunate. And I just don't see that being in any way sustainable. And then you've got these kids that are coming through as Teal Fellows, which I'm sure is a great experience. I'm sure it's a great experience, but then maybe they want to go to universities afterwards. And maybe the real benefit is that they'll come into universities with greater direction of what they want to do, what they want to study, what they want to create. And so everything that they do in the university is centered on their own personal interests, rather than being passive consumers of university products.
If through some chance, some twist of fate, you were made Chancellor, Rector, whatever the word is, of HVA, and you had authority to institutionalize 3 changes that could never be reformed, what would they be?
3 changes?
At least in your lifetime, for the next 50 years.
Right. Well, if I was a chancellor of the university, I would focus on undergraduate education, creating opportunities for undergraduates to distinguish themselves, define themselves, make that the focus of the curricula.
How does this personalized knowledge not degenerate into educational narcissism, where students simply devise education to make them feel better about themselves?
Because they have to test it. They have to go on the market and they have to go test what they know. And then they're also responsible for then we can also create a system where they're also responsible for feedback looping back into the system and sharing what they know, rather than being narcissist consumers of this and sitting back. But they have to take an active role in this, and the university needs to be a player in that, and helping to enable students to take on an active role in the creation of their own futures.
So the university still maintains its gatekeeper role in that sense?
I wouldn't say gatekeeper, but I think it helps plot the pathways to the gates. But for some students, no, maybe they do need a gatekeeper. Maybe some students would work better in an industrial model school. So that's why I say we need an ecology of options, is that for some students that this industrial model, that's what they need. They need to be told what to do, what to think, and what their options are. And other students are maybe ready to go and try something new. I would also create formal studies of the future, and getting students to think about the future. And I mean, how many of us have had a course on the future, or have had a course on how to think? And so I think that in a society
well,
where
you can have a class about thinking and not think about the future. Why is thinking about the future so important?
Because when we're in school environment, we have to think about our future. We have to think about our professional development, personal development, and what we're going to apply it for, the purposive element of why we're here.
What about studying the past? Does that have any value?
Sure.
But the future's more important.
It's just as important.